Hello and welcome to Back to the Feature, the show where we talk about movies past, present, and future. Today we're talking about the newest movie to hit theaters, the much anticipated Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman stars Gal Gadot, who we all saw in BVS. She showed up there at the end to fight some sort of CGI mess, but we all really enjoyed her despite our thoughts of the polarizing Batman vs. Superman. So I think everyone was really excited to actually get a feature-length film with this character. And I have to say right off the bat, I think this movie definitely delivered.
I think so too. I think a lot of positive buzz, especially from us. We really enjoyed this movie. It was a blast.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had their doubts. Given the DCEU movies so far, I think Man of Steel is flawed, but I do enjoy it.
Yep.
And then, BVS is quite a mess. There are things to like, but definitely the theatrical cut of that movie is garbage. And then Suicide Squad, that's that movie that must not be named. We're going to treat it like Lord Voldemort from here on out. So getting to Wonder Woman was really, there's a lot of anticipation. I feel like we've been waiting for this movie for a long time since we saw that first trailer at Comic-Con. It's in this long wait. And overall, this is the cream of the crop for the DCEU.
Yeah, it's great to see just a fully fleshed out story, good origin story, good character, and just the movie just no plot holes, it wasn't overly convoluted. It just was well made all the way through and through. And that was really exciting. And Patty Jenkins did a really good job with this film. So I'm really excited to see what this does for her career too.
Yeah. And then a lot of people had doubts because, the main thing they know her for is Monster, which is a smaller, more indie film. And this is a big blockbuster with big action set pieces and stuff like that. But she definitely carried this movie and really made something, I think, different, yet still very familiar to the superhero genre. It fits in really well, I think, with the rest of the DCEU, while I think also injecting some light and some color into it. Yeah. I thought that especially the humor was really well played for the most part in this movie.
For sure the first time in the DCEU that it really worked.
Yeah. It
wasn't forced, it wasn't hitting anything over the head, just great humor. But Chris Pine really delivered that. Chris Pine was awesome as Steve Trevor in this film. I'm a big Chris Pine fan, especially after Hell or High Water last year. And, he's great in Star Trek, too. But him coming into the DCU, he was great. It was so fun seeing their chemistry together. Him and Gal Gadot did a really, really good job. Their relationship was very believable. So
I'd say it's definitely one of the best romantic relationships in any comic book movie.
Yeah.
As it should be.
Totally.
I think the Steve Trevor Wonder Woman relationship is important to her character. So for that to work so well, I'm really happy that they were able to pull that off going forward with her. And not to speak too much about her co-star, but she, I think, really did a great job. She had the big task of bringing this character to life and carrying this movie. I mean, a lot of the stuff I really love too is the beginning of her origin. I thought that the origin with the mascara and all of that stuff was so cool to see. And I think that this character overall really got fleshed out, and I really, really enjoyed her. I don't think she gets challenged too often, but this movie does have some heavy thematic and emotional lifting.
I think there could have been more things from it. I think she did a really good job, but I think it wasn't wow, I think there could have been a little bit more from her. Overall, but that's really nitpicky. Yeah, that's really nitpicky. I really enjoy her as this character.
Yeah, and I think she's really got it dialed in. It feels like how a Wonder Woman movie should feel like while you're watching it. It really does seem like the character that we're all very familiar with and have known throughout the years. And she has that charisma, and I think that it really shines through. Even if she's not always perfect as an actress, she knows how to just have that charisma and to carry herself. Then she seems like Wonder Woman. So
I want to give a shout out to the casting too of the child actress that played her. So good, so cute.
Yeah.
And it's just and then the teenage one too. There is an intermediate one too, and all of it really flowed really well. It felt like the same character. It all felt like Diana, so that was really unique, really cool seeing her grow up in her origin. So
yeah, I'd say some of the Themyscira stuff is some of my favorite stuff in the movie. I thought the design of like their culture and all the architecture there, all the like the armor and the swords and stuff like that. It was really cool to see that come together. I know that they Patty Jenkins and one of the like the set designers, they had only some of the female crew members work on Themyscira. They said, you know, make this like a, you know, a paradise for women, a kingdom of women. How would it look? You know, and I think that it really, there's these subtle little differences with this movie, you know, to other films that are maybe more male-centric comic book movies, but they really are subtle. They're not, it's not heavy-handed.
Yeah, I know, like, a lot of the big things that are out in the web is this is the feminist movie, this is the feminist push. And it is, but it's done in the best way possible.
Yeah,
it's handled so well, and it's not just feminism; it's all equality.
Yeah,
I think she's very diverse cast, and the cast was perfect. I just thought it was great all around. The whole team just was really fun seeing the interactions between all of them, and then just the thematic elements of the film and what she stands for.
Yeah, I thought that was the strongest thing. I think with her, I think that like she, and I'll give credit to Gal Gadot as well. It's her character is inspiring, and I think that she's a great symbol for, I think, civil rights and equality, and this movie does a great job of that. I think that's actually, to me, the strongest thing about Wonder Woman is its themes are so strong, and that really, a lot of the times, that was what was really getting me during that movie, and really, I think, was what was dipping into the emotional well for me, and it's not stuff that I think is so out front. It's these really subtle things that they're doing with the story, with the characters.
It definitely wasn't polarizing, because there's a wrong way to do that too. And I think like maybe Ghostbusters from last year kind of it struggled with doing that, and having Chris Pine in this role, and they did a really good job with that relationship and just kind of his interaction with her and her interaction with him, his beliefs, her beliefs, and the way it just kind of matches up and goes through the end of the movie. So well done. I was very pleased.
So, I mean, that's quite a few of the things that we really enjoyed. What are some of the things maybe you didn't like as much with Wonder Woman?
I guess some of the things, I think some of the CGI was just kind of off-putting at times.
Definitely agree.
I think, you know, there's things that we've seen Wonder Woman now with Zack Snyder, and we've seen, you know, what the DC has been so far, and I think there's just some things maybe at different expectations from it. There is some really good action scenes, and there is some really good things done, but then there's some other stuff where it's just kind of
I'd say overall the action is serviceable. And I know Patty Jenkins doesn't come from that background, so I was kind of in some ways expecting that. Not that she's not able to, just that, you know, that's not where her like
strongest
her strongest suit in her experience is. There's tons of different directors that struggle with action sequences, so this stuff honestly was better than a lot of other stuff. But at the end of the day, I think that a lot of like the real money shot kind of like parts of it, we already kind of got in some of the trailers.
Yeah, the trailer.
So there wasn't quite enough surprises. You know, I always love, like I think I've said before, it's always so fun with these comic book movies when you see them using their powers in creative ways or using their ability in ways that are creative and off the wall. And I think that like it's seeing just maybe a little bit more of that, just a little bit more of that wow factor when she goes into action. I just felt like we saw a lot of it already.
Yeah.
So it didn't quite have some of the impact.
Yeah, it didn't have.
That, you know, but I think that's funny though. At the end of the day, that's the weakest part of the movie. The action is serviceable. The characters and the story, the writing, the themes of the movie are so strong that it really doesn't. That stuff doesn't matter.
At the end of the day, it was just so well made. It was just well made through and through. I guess, you know, some. I'm trying to think of other complaints I had. What were we talking about?
For the most part, that was really it for me. Was you know, there's maybe some things I didn't like overall about the villains. Maybe there could have been a little bit more, but you know, at the end of the day, I was fairly happy with it. It has some third act stuff that I think we see with a lot of superhero films that, you know, I don't think necessarily is something that's bad, but it definitely wasn't my favorite part of the movie.
And we've seen this. We were having this conversation too with DC characters.
Yeah,
it's really hard to film action choreography with the scale and the vastness. Yeah, like we've seen it in Man of Steel with like the just what gods would look like fighting, and with BVS with Doomsday fight at the end. Like just kind of like. They haven't really quite figured out exactly what they want to do with some of these really big fights. Obviously, Batman you can get away with because he's a man.
He's smaller scale.
You can get some really good fight choreography, but like someone like Wonder Woman or Superman or, You know, once we see Green Lantern too come into the mix, and the Flash, what is that going to look like?
Yeah, the power levels are much higher in DC compared to, say, something like Marvel. They have a lot more of like almost godlike characters. They're the Mount Olympus of comic books.
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of the times the action kind of follows suit. I really, though, like I said, the third act, not my favorite part. Some of the CGI didn't quite hold up for me, but overall, like I said, at the end of the day, the action was really serviceable, and the characters and the story and the themes just drives it along, and it really, like I said, it doesn't need to have superb action to be a good movie. I think the movie really just, it has its strongest suits, and it plays them really, really well.
Yeah.
So, guys, that has been our spoiler-free review today of Wonder Woman. John, what is your final grade and summary, then, for Wonder Woman?
You know, what do I got to say here? DCEU has finally delivered a solid, through and through, from start to finish, a good movie. And this is going to please a lot of people. It was a lot of fun. It was great seeing Wonder Woman finally on the big screen. And Gal Gadot delivered. Chris Pine delivered. Patty Jenkins did such a fantastic job. I really just want to give it up to the Warner Brothers finally, like giving us something. Finally, thank you. I had a blast. It was a good movie. I probably am giving this movie an A-.
This movie had to walk an unnecessary tightrope to begin with the whole stigma against female-led superhero movies. That never really dimmed any of the excitement I think that we felt in this room going to go see this movie. This movie delivered exactly, I think, what I was really hoping for. I really want the DC movies to be better, and this is a great start. And a character that has never been particularly my favorite, I felt so inspired and connected to her throughout the entire film. It's probably my favorite example of Wonder Woman that I've ever seen. I'm also going to give it an A-. It's a really, really, really good comic book movie, worth anybody's time. And like I said, it was good, put on a really big stage.
Yeah.
Not just as being a blockbuster movie, but socially, and it just danced along it with just grace. So it's a really, really great movie. I hope you guys go and see it this weekend. You can find us here on YouTube. Subscribe, comment down below if you've seen Wonder Woman, what you think. You can also find us on Twitter at BacktoFeature and on Facebook at /BacktoFeature. I've been Giovanni Carlo.
And I'm John Vanderloo.
And we'll see you guys next time.
What are you?
I am Diana of Themyscira, daughter of Hippolyta. In the name of all that is good, your wrath upon this world is over.